This is one such person who Coach DiGregorio will always mean a lot to. Her name is Dorothy Bowers-Collins. How you doing, Dorothy?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good, honey. You know, I talked to you the other day on the phone. We set this up. I can tell from the demeanor in your voice there was a sadness. Where were you when you heard the news, and what was your immediate reaction?
So, since this coronavirus been going on, I've been on remote work. So I actually came back to Ohio. So I'm at my daughter's in Cleveland, and so I actually was just answering emails or so, and then I checked my voicemail message, and then I had a message and said that somebody wanted to speak to me about the passing. They thought I had heard, and I hadn't even heard yet. And so that just broke me down. I called my daughter out, and, I said, Coach DiGregorio passed away. I just started crying. And then I got in touch with his daughter, Marilyn, and we had a conversation, and we just cried and, just talked and cried. I mean, it was by far the saddest day for me.
Dorothy, what did he mean to you? You keep hearing the term, and I heard it from a number of his former players, a father or even a grandfather-like figure. But what did he mean to you personally? Because, Dorothy, I will say this, when you look back at his run at Youngstown State University, you got there at about the time he got there. So if he's going to get off on the good foot, he's going to get off to a successful career. And that wasn't the initial game plan. He was only supposed to be there for a short time. But Dorothy Bowers, you kind of resurrected things for him, and you put things on the correct perspective and would catapult him into a legendary 20-year career as a mentor of the Youngstown State Ladies program. That was you, Dorothy.
I mean, not only was he a father figure, he was a mentor. He was my friend. My college career ended, and we were still up in touch with each other until this day. I mean, I was his first recruit along with Tanya Simeone, and those were the best years of my life. I mean, he helped me have the greatest time. He helped me to develop into the best basketball player that I could be. And then also the woman that I am today. I look back over, my 35 years plus of knowing him and just thanking God that he put somebody in my life besides my immediate family with him. And I know just looking back that he set the tone for us at YSU. Again, as I said, me and Tanya, his first recruits, he told us how it was going to be, and it was just exactly like it was. He brought in class act recruits. Carol Need was added on there. We already had Danielle Carson. I mean, he just brought a nucleus in that really wanted to play basketball, and that's what we actually did. My relationship with Coach goes beyond my years at the college. I mean, Coach DiGregorio knows my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, my uncles. He knows my husband, my children. I mean, he's gone to basketball games. My daughter plays at Gannon. Him and his wife went to several games. He watched my son play on TV. So that's how close we are. Like, I've taken him to lunch. I mean, my last conversation with him was, Dorothy, I want you to take me to a game when you come home, because he knows I travel to my son's games every weekend. And he was like, well, when you come home, I want you to try to come and get me and take me to a game. Let's go have lunch and stuff. That's how great. We talked all the time. I mean, words can't express how I feel about him, what he done. I mean, he was a decision maker in my life. I mean, when he said, Dorothy, we want to offer you a scholarship, that not only opened the door for me, but that was the way that my family was able to come to see me play. My mom rides the bus. She does not know how to drive. She does not have a driver's license. Do you know my mom was able to attend all of my home games because of that? My uncle, all of my home games because of that. My family was there, and he made that difference.
Wow. And you had that East connection with him. You were an East high school performer, third team All-State, and then Coach D comes knocking at Dorothy's door and says, hey, come play basketball for me. I'm going to begin something really special here, Dorothy, and I want you to be part of it. Did he win you over immediately when he was recruiting you, Dorothy?
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
Did he win you over immediately when he was recruiting you? I mean,
Yeah.
or was it something over the course of time you just got closer and closer to him?
No, he was the one that offered me a scholarship, and it was actually in my hometown. I didn't have to go far. Only thing I asked of him is if I could just stay in the dorms. I didn't want to stay at home. And he was like, of course you can stay in the dorms. And I was happy from that point. And then it was just a connection from there on. I mean, good times, bad times. If I did things wrong, he came to me. He told me to make it right. He scolded me. He reprimanded whatever happened or so. But then it was all left on the table. You know, you never had to go back to it again or whatever. He didn't hold grudges or anything. He was just a giving, loving person.
And Dorothy, you delivered for him. Boy, did you ever, and you made him look great. 2,324 career points. You are Youngstown State's women's all-time leading scorer and also their leading rebounder with 1,083 career rebounds, which eventually led to a 1997 Hall of Fame induction at Youngstown State University. What did it mean for you to be able to please and be able to deliver for Coach DiGregorio for having all that faith in you as one of his very first recruits?
I mean, it was great. I mean, not only did he believe me, he also had the other team members believe too. I mean, when you're on a basketball team, you have 15 other 14 other people that you're playing with. So you have to get them to buy in too. And him having the ability to get those people to buy in, people knew what their roles were. And so they obliged by that. You know, some people were not, meant to probably come in and play a significant amount of time like I did. But they knew what their role was, and he made sure that they understood that. I think it was just great. And just bringing in the people who were similar to me, people who wanted to play, people who wanted to excel. You know, our senior year, we had 18 wins. That was the catalyst of a lot of wins within that 4 years based on that Ohio Valley Conference. That conference was tough. I mean, I've met girls throughout that conference that went to the next level and played professionally overseas or played in the WNBA after it came on. But that league was really tough, and for us to have that run that we had in that league, especially our senior year, it was great.
And you were the OVC Player of the Year in your senior campaign, 1987 through 1988. And more about delivering for Coach DiGregorio's faith. Your number 33 jersey, retired from Youngstown State. No one will ever wear that. I'm providing you some accolades, Dorothy. I'm sure you remember these. But, man, you just seemed to step up, too, against the most formidable of competition. You had 49 points against Kent State in 1985. You did it to Kent again in 88 with 46 points, 43 against Austin P in 87. Girl, you were outstanding, and Coach DiGregorio was your top fan, was he not?
Yeah, he was my top fan. He was. And, I mean, but also my teammates. When I look back, and even when I talk to my daughter and my son as they were playing basketball and my son is playing now, I let them know it just wasn't about me scoring. People got me the basketball. And I definitely have to give a shout-out to my teammates, Danielle Carson, Tanya Simeone, Carol Nee. Those people got the ball. I can remember that Kent State game as vivid right now. We're at halftime, and I think I had about 20 points, 21 points.
Wow.
Danielle Carson came up to me, Tanya, and she said, look, Dorothy, I need you to have your target hand up. I'm getting you the ball every time. We're going to break some records here today. So when you look at that, I had 49, but I guarantee you she had probably about 20 assists. So people don't understand that. I had great point guards who wanted to get me the ball, and they got me the ball.
How would you describe your play, Dorothy, at the collegiate level? You averaged a double-double, which is amazing. You averaged 21.5 points per game and 10 rebounds per a double-double at college. How would you describe your play back at that time?
I think one was I was very athletic, so I can run like a gazelle and probably jump like a giraffe. I was really athletic. But I worked hard. I mean, I played with boys all the time. We played with the men's football team. We played against the men's football coaches with Tressel and all of those, Rick Beverly. I worked out with the men's basketball team. I needed to be the best because I came from Youngstown East. a young girl from the east side, and I really didn't have no skill set. I mean, if you look at it, Coach DiGregorio would say the story all the time. Canfield's coach, Boardman's coach, they really didn't even think that I should have recruited you. But I seen some things that they didn't see. And basically, I was raw. But if somebody would work with me, I could get better. And I've seen that every year from the teams that I played that I had to get better. I just couldn't be the typical forward. And I just worked on my game. I mean, I worked on my shot. I mean, I knew I could make a layup. I knew I could rebound. But then I had to bring it out, be able to shoot 15 or 20-foot jump shots. I had to be able to put the ball on the floor and go to the basket. Basically, just learning the game, getting that whole set all of those 4 years, trying to expand my game to the best of my ability, and that's what I did, and it helped. But I have to say that I had a good crew who got me the basketball, too. I didn't do it by myself. I mean, I really had that support. You know, plays were ran for me. And, I mean, if you look at the minutes I played a lot of minutes, but I was very, very aggressive. I was a hard worker, and I just always put those tools. I was good at something, and I wanted to make myself better at it.
We're talking to Dorothy Bowers-Collins, the very first recruit for legendary head coach Ed DiGregorio, and the Youngstown State women's all-time leading scorer and rebounder. Dorothy, where are you living at right now, dear?
I actually live in Allentown, PA. I work for Lehigh Carbon Community College. I am the Dean of Student Success there.
Interesting. I got to talk to you about your son a little bit. You've mentioned him a couple of times. You got to be awfully proud. South Florida Bulls, 6'3". He's going to forego his senior year. He's announced plans to enter the NBA draft. And it was interesting. I was reading a quote from your son, David Collins. He says that my mother is my biggest critic, and she always reminds me to stay focused. And when I read that, Dorothy, I can't help but think back to Coach DiGregorio. Did you pick that up from him?
Yes. Everything that I taught both of my children, Dorian and Little Day, we still call him that. Everything that I learned from Coach DiGregorio, everything that I had a weakness at, I wanted to make sure that my children didn't have a weakness. I mean, when I look back, Dorian had a great career at Gannon. She made it to the NCAA Elite Eight. My son, he's doing well. Now he's going through this process for the NBA, but, you know, I'm being supportive for him. But, you know, really, as a college dean, I want my son to go back for his senior year. I believe he can leave a legacy at South Florida, just like I did at YSU. Don't get me wrong, records are can be broken, and they're meant to be broken. But I just think he can leave a legacy because he was in a kind of a situation like me going into South Florida. They had a change of coaches. The program hadn't had a winning season in years, and he came in and helped promote that as well. So I think that he's in the same situation as me. But I keep them focused on where they're getting where their target is. I need him to get his degree. He's 7 classes. He's going to take 2 this summer. If he goes back 4 in the fall, and then he'll be done with 1 in that next semester. But like I said, he wants to do this. We're going to look at the evaluation he gets from the NBA, and we're going to see where he takes it. But I really do want him to go back to school. My daughter, like I said, she went to Gannon, but then she went on to law school, so she's a lawyer in employment and labor law. So everything that he's done, Coach DiGregorio has done for me, I've passed it on to my children. They know.
Oh, I love
when
that.
When they have problems, when they have issues, they come and talk to me, and I let them know, you know, how it is, because everything isn't always great. You know, you go through some adversity.
You know, your son started at Ursuline, then you transferred him down to Washington, Pennsylvania at First Love Christian Academy. It's a prep school near Pittsburgh, and you know, he had great success there. And then he gets to the Bulls at South Florida and averages 10 points per game, 15.9 in 18-19, and then this past campaign 13.7 to become the leading scorer. He's also a prolific dunker. So when you look at your son David Collins and everything you learned from Coach DiGregorio about entering the the NBA draft, I love how you incorporate what he taught you and the values that you hold true within your concept of what it means to be a success, Dorothy, in life. Go ahead, get the degree, finish up those hours, because that's what's going to matter. When you look at the whole picture as a loving mother and an experienced player and someone that's a protege of Ed DiGregorio, when he looks at the concept of the NBA draft, it's a tough league to get into. You could be great in college. You get in there, and you suddenly find, and I've seen this time and time again, so you're preparing him just in case, are you not?
Yes, I'm preparing him just in case because he's not the only one declaring to go to the NBA. There are probably about thousands of boys out there that want to do that. And it's kind of like the luck of the draw. Where you land at, is that team a good fit for you or not or so. But, yes, I want him to be prepared because it might not be I want him to have that life after basketball. He had an opportunity to get that degree. I want him to get that degree. Sometimes when you do get drafted or you do go into the NBA, you lose the aspect of that. And he's so close, so I really want him to finish that. But again, like I said, we're going to evaluate that. I'm going to take what all the knowledge that Coach DiGregorio has given me because, I went over and played overseas a couple years, but I came back because I was actually in love with a boy, and then I didn't even end up marrying that individual. So that lets you know that life takes its turn.
Come on, man. He cut your career short, Dorothy. Come on. Hey, Dorothy, I've got to ask you, never forget moments when you were playing at Youngstown State. Are there a couple of moments that you'll never forget during your playing days that perhaps involved Ed DiGregorio?
Yes. The one that I always tells about going to Las Vegas, he always took us on some nice tournaments. I've never flown. My first time flying was going to college and going to a basketball game. But our senior year, we went to a tournament in Las Vegas. We played at the Thomas Mack Arena. I'll never forget it. So I've never been to Vegas. It's my first time. From the time we land in Vegas at the airport to see all those slot machines and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Me, Tanya Simeon, Carol Nee, we're all going to hit it big. And so basically what we did was took all our money, putting it in the slot machines. Once we got to our hotel, we stayed at the Circus. So, that's 24/7, a Circus going on. We checked into our rooms. We got a safe in our room. We got a bar in our room. But he had already told us that we can't touch that bar. But anyway, me and Tanya put our money together because we were roommates on the road. And basically, we kept going downstairs, putting our money in the slot machines, playing the slot machines, thinking we were going to hit it big. And, a couple times we have seen him at the casinos, and he plays blackjack, so we were trying to play blackjack. Well, me and Tanya spent all our money. We didn't have money for the next morning for breakfast, so me and her sat in the room and cried all night long until we had the courage to go to his room about 4 o'clock in the morning to tell him that we spent all our money trying to hit it big, and we didn't hit it big, and we don't have any more money. He scolded us.
Did he yell at you?
He scolded us, but he also gave us a new packet with money in it. So
oh, that is a great story. Oh, my gosh. And so giving of him. And that's what he was involved in so many charity affairs and giving and stuff. And there were stories that, when the athletic budget for the YSU women's basketball program had run dry, there were times that Coach DiGregorio would say, take money out of his own wallet and say, you know what, my ladies need this. Here you go. This is out of my own pocket.
Yep, that's what he did. He always made sure when we took trips that were 6 hours or less on a bus, we had food on there. He had sandwiches. He had fruit. He had water. He had everything for us. He wanted us to have the best of everything, and I know he took money out of his pocket for the program, and I know he fundraised. I know all the individuals he spoke to. That's why I said we had a great, great relationship, and I still had a relationship with some of the donors after I graduated. We would go to lunch and stuff. That's how close my relationship with those individuals are. And even when they passed away, we would sit and discuss. We went to the funerals and stuff or whatever. Coach DiGregorio was the greatest dad that I could ever have that didn't even birth me. When I talk to his sisters, his daughters, they're my sisters. You know, his son, that's my brother. I mean, that's how we are. I think Coach DiGregorio, I went to his house probably about 7 or 8 times last year, brought lunch. Me and Carol Nee went one time. Me and Tanya Sumion went one time. I took my mother, my daughter. We went one time. My son, when he was home, we went. That's how much I love this man. And I know he was proud of me, but he don't even know how proud of I was of him. I mean, he set the tone for my life. You know, when I was a senior in high school, I was planning on going to the Army with my best friend on a button system. And to get a scholarship and just change my whole life around and then have the best 4 years, I mean, I just can't thank him enough, you know? I just can't thank him enough.
Boy, and you know, Dorothy, and you think about it, and I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. And like you said, I mean, you're going to go into the Army, and here comes Coach D, and he offers you the scholarship, and you call it the best 4 years of in your life. And then you go on to say, you know what, this guy's like a father to me. He knew everybody in my family. And, you know, his passing will always be a somber moment, but the people like you, Dorothy, like Diane Rapich Costco that we talked to earlier in the program, all of you ladies, all of you alum, DiGregorio disciples, as I might want to call you, all speak volumes and praises about what the man meant to you both on the floor and off the floor. He was that kind of impact person.
Yes, he was. He was. I mean, there's nothing that he wouldn't do for you. I mean, just to call and check on you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, I haven't heard from you in a while, Dorothy. And I was like, Coach, I know. I was just getting backed up, you know. And then I started, you know, calling regularly because I don't want him calling me saying he hasn't heard from me or so or whatever. I mean, we just had a real great relationship. And plus our birthdays are on the same days. You know, he's 40 years older than me, so we always celebrated our birthdays and stuff.
Dorothy, I can't thank you for enough for being on the program and reliving some great memories for you. Unfortunately, it's somber times that we have to conduct the interview, but Coach DiGregorio will live on forever in the hearts of everybody that ever knew him.
Yes, he will.
And thank you, Dorothy. I appreciate it.